Hello, John again. Got here Luna Aria, the cat, um, diving into her little hole. Here's Shinigami the pug. And as promised from before, I'm going to talk about the beginning bits of stepping. We've been going over grass bird's tail, so we're going to start getting into combining things with the legs a little bit. We talked about the three different circles, the coronal, the vertical, the horizontal. We started doing some hold the ball. We had a whole big discussion talking about like pong. We have pong, the, ji, on. We have the ward off, roll back. Those are the two sort of like Taiji energies. Jing out of the eight, and ji pressing or squeezing on. Big, long, big push. So now we're going to start actually going into where the steppings are. So I've already had some stuff with stepping previously, not only in terms of how to make like Taiji walking, which is basically a succession of bow stances, if you're familiar with that. I've also done one on, it's called Kobu and Pibu. Kobu and Pibu. So we have Kobu, it's sort of like closing, Pibu is opening. And those are going to be big with internals in terms of turning and in terms of uh, even hooking legs and moving around and stuff like that. So we're just going to go basic stepping stuff right now. I'm just going to go over the pattern. So the basic pattern we have, we're going to mostly focus on the feet with this. So even 50-50 weight is still okay. Because even if we're going, you have like the big sort of stuff like that, if we're going from like Chen style, at some point I'm 50-50. Now, the reason why some people say, no, 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 don't do this is because Taiji has something called you don't want to be double weighted. Double weighted doesn't mean you're 50-50. If you remember, Taiji originally is the 13 original sort of things, the 8 energies and 5 steppings. One of the steppings is center. Centers are going to be here. You start off here, right in the center, 50-50. At any point in time when you're coming back and forth, stepping and walking, you're going to be 50-50 at some point in time. When you cross that sort of threshold, you're going to be 50-50. Double weighted means you're not moving the leg unless it's empty. So, and empty also, remember, means that it has the potential to be full. Yin and yang aren't opposing each other. I'm from America, from the West. We have this very hard and fast idea of poles. It's either this or that. You're either with me or against me. If you're not here, you're over here, and that's it. There's no in between. And that's garbage. It's rubbish. There is everything in between those things. So at the risk of not getting into a larger conversation with this, uh, in terms of just sort of anything politically, sociologically, uh, any sort of stuff. We can talk about that. But with this, with just the stepping, the double weighted is this. So you might have seen, or you might do this if you notice, sort of people will move in a controlled fall. So it's not like they're really walking, it's just sort of like they're trying to not just tip over. So it might look a little something like this. And that's kind of how they walk. I mean, I had to take all these extra steps halfway into the other room just to kind of slow myself down and turn around. It's inefficient, you're wasting that energy. You're actually putting a little bit of extra on the legs and the joints and stuff too. Careful, buddy. Easy, buddy. It's not time for lunch yet. He's kind of getting lunch. I shouldn't have said that. But what we want to do is we want to have control over that. This is one of the reasons why they'll be teaching stepping and things to maybe people who are in some sort of rehab or older, because it helps teach you how to step correctly. Uh, Again, I live in a northern sort of temperate zone. We have ice and snow and crazy stuff in the winter. It's necessary to know how to do this. So double weighted, another just a thing to show you with double weighted, it will be sort of, all right, and if I'm going to move my leg and step out, that's going to be more controlled, more Taiji. If I'm double weighted, I'm lifting my leg and kind of here. Now, I'm not going to have that much power to push forward, and if I have to move again, I have to shift in order to move again. Therefore, it takes more time, it takes more energy, it's less efficient, and it gives your opponent the opportunity to take that leg or do something else they're going to do, because you have to take that extra time and energy to make an extra move. So what we want to do, trying to even this up here on the screen, is if I'm double on the 50-50 now, I'm going to hike my britches up a little bit, is I'm going to shift. Now I'm going to shift to the right. Sneak up a little bit here. I'm going to shift to the right. So I'm shifting right. Now right now, empty, full. And I want to point out, my hip, my knee, my foot are all in alignment. My knee isn't here and my foot over there, so all my weight's on my knee. No, my weight's going through my foot into the ground. Very important. But this is empty right now, so I can move this. I can pick this up, do all sorts of stuff, you know, leg blocking or leg escape or anything like that, kind of do the whatever that thing was from the 90s and or any of that. So I can shift and move. So this is empty, I can move this. I can move this around, do whatever I need to do. And then we push and shift again. Lined up, empty, I can move it. See, I'm not like lifting or having to do an extra thing to move this leg. It's just here, I can just move it. I'm not shifting like the height of my head. I'm not moving. I can even have like the little letterbox lines on my video here. I'm not shifting past that. So bend the knees and you can shift side to side. Now when I shift side to side, it's a little misnomer. What I'm actually doing is pushing from heel to heel. One of the things that kind of feels like, it almost feels like your bone marrow, this is going to be weird, so just sort of bear with me. I'm trying to make an analogy of this the best I can. Almost feels like your bone marrow, your bones are like hoses, like garden hoses. And what happens is like there's almost like warm water going through those hoses and going into like the different tubs in each of your feet. So it's emptying out and pushing down and emptying out and pushing down. And we're pushing from heel to heel. You know, you want to do the Bruce Lee 1-inch punch, you want to do all this other stuff, you want to have power with internals or anything, you're pushing from the heel. You gotta, and it's sinking into the feet with that too. So again, we're going to kind of shift, but we're going to add something now. When we add something, we're going to add lifting. So I'm going to shift to the right. I'm going to lift my left heel. Now I can't lift this leg unless it's empty. So I'm lifting it. I'm going to bring it up, come into the ankle. I'm going to step back out, heel first, then put the foot down, still empty, full, and push to the other side. When I'm here, full, empty, lift the heel, step into the ankle, step out on the heel, set the foot down. Now, still empty. I can still move this around or do whatever because I'm still weighted here. Then push, lift, step in, step out, down on the heel, down the foot, and push. Lift, step in, step out, set down, and push. In. After we lift, we step in, step out on the heel. See my little slippers? And switch. This is all you even need. You don't even need like crazy shoes or anything for this. Just practice this in your slippers. Probably not the most professional thing, but you get the idea. It's better than you see my feet, trust me. In, 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 down, two, and settle. So that's going to be the basic pattern of stepping for Taiji. Even if you're doing the bow stances and the Taiji walking, if you're doing, uh, even the side-to-side movements for like wave hands like clouds, you're stepping back. Even when we're talking about cat stance or 7-star stance, it's still going to have that similar pattern of stepping, well, as we go. So that's the sort of the basic pattern, the basic way to start looking at the stepping and getting the body to move together in one unit. Again, watch your alignments. That knee alignment comes out, it's going to hurt. Trust me on this one. It hurt me when I wasn't aligned right. I've seen other people do it. I'm hawking on it all the time. Get your alignments in there. And again, just practice back and forth. It's real simple. My idea is, and it might seem overly complicated right now the way I describe it in this one and subsequent videos, but my idea when I teach stuff is I think of it like a cartoon. And I think of it like a cartoon like this. You can have a cartoon that's really cheaply animated. You get a couple pictures here, a couple pictures there. The person kind of does, might look a little jerky, kind of cheap. But if a cartoon has a lot of pictures in that frame rate, it's going to be more smooth. It's going to be more realistic. It's going to be a higher quality. So I'm going to describe a simple thing in maybe very complicated ways because I want all those the little parts in between to be able to work together as a smoother whole. So, if we talk about the postures, I mean, grass bird's tail isn't 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's all one motion. But when you can get, there's 4 movements, but if you break those 4 movements down into other pieces with that and make those and then bring them in together, it's a more fluid movement. You get used to thinking how that whole body moves together. Everything moves in conjunction. Everything is nice and moving in those circles. Moving from the dantian, pushing out from the legs, getting the body to sit in the correct way. So if it seems like, just take the freaking step, dude. Just step out. It's not a big deal. It is kind of a big deal because it has to be done correctly in order for everything else to be done correctly. The legs are going to be the thing that supports you. He's getting annoyed. I'm not paying attention to him. What supports you as you do this. The lower is supporting the upper. We talked about that with Punk. And so you want that base to be correct. And in order to be able to neutralize or send or redirect any of the energy that comes in you, your support and your base still has to be correct. Because I've done the whole thing. You get bigger guys than you pushing down on you or pushing in on you or any of that other stuff. My teacher's teacher, Master Will Duncan, would actually do that. He'd sit there in like Santi or with like Bong Chuan. He's a big guy. I'm not a big guy. He's a big guy. He's sitting there like leaning on you. Your structure's not right. You're not going to be able to deal with it. You've got to support everything into the ground, and you do it through the body. Again, I'm not a big guy. I'm not going muscle to muscle with some of these guys that are out there because they're 13, 14-year-olds who are twice my size. 3 inches taller, 100 pounds heavier. I'm not going muscle to muscle with them. It ain't going to work. So I got to do something. My whole body can redirect and neutralize more than just someone using an arm to press on you. And getting the feet and the stepping and the stances correct is going to be the way to really start in on that. All right? So that's just beginning stepping 101. We will add in things as we go. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you soon. My big crazy eyes.